Hey, what's going on, everybody? Tim Meister here, and welcome back to Dunswell. Here we are, overlooking the entire city, running at a glorious 35 FPS. How amazing is that? We have quite an agenda for this video today, so let's jump right into it. The main thing that I'm going to be focusing on in this episode is the metro network. So I finally made a decision on what I'm going to do with this line here that has been forever just kind of straggled off here into the northern suburbs of the city. So as I'm gonna build this this metro line, I'm gonna be explaining what's going on. But in short, this specific metro line that departs from downtown, kind of wiggles its way across the bay over into Brightwood, is by the end of this episode going to become a loop. Okay, so let's jump right into it here. But actually, before I begin that, there is one more thing I want to take care of, and that is to zone all of this residential that, or these residential streets, rather, that I built in the last episode. So let's go ahead and zone all of our commercial zones here, all along our main streets, as I normally do. And I'm going to continue on that trend. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I just know that as soon as I start placing down a ton of residential, the commercial demand is going to skyrocket. So I'm going to preemptively place down all of these commercial zones. And I am going to zone it just like this. But before I get too carried away here, I will have to zone this entire area here, just to make sure that we don't have any European buildings that are going to start spawning all over the place. So let's go ahead and zone all of this. Actually, I think I'm going to make this, all of this, part of Glade Heights. There, and then Lafayette District will be all of this. Manor Hills, I think I'm going to erase whatever's on these side, this side of the tracks, and then whatever's on the northern part of these railroad tracks will become a new district whenever we get to that point. These are basically going to become the Hollywood Hills of the city. So the Lafayette district, I am going to choose the European suburbia theme, as I really like the look of it, honestly. And let's just make sure that over here in Manor Hills, actually in Manor Hills, I'm just going to keep this vanilla. All right, and then basically we just go crazy with the residential demand. And as we don't have a huge residential demand right now, I don't anticipate this residential district to like explode with housing, thus causing a death wave. I think we should be in the clear for that. I mean, I know a death wave is kind of inevitable in this game, but the best you can do is kind of prolong it as much as you can. Yeah, I'm gonna zone all of this. Basically all of this. However, I may want to include maybe a couple of stores here and there. You know, every neighborhood needs its little corner stores and such. So let's make sure to include those. Maybe not in this episode, but I would eventually like to build a park in between these little canyons here. Not necessarily like a full park, but I would like to have at least some trails and stuff so people can just walk around easily between these neighborhoods. And it'll look nice too, you know? Alright, so I am simply going to zone all of this. And then eventually I'll tree this all in, but I'm kind of at the tree limit right now, so I'm gonna have to make another round and remove some trees from the edge of the map. But I might not do that because I don't want to risk the edges of the map looking totally barren and ugly. Alright, so I'm just gonna zone this up. Gonna go into a time-lapse mode here real quick, and I'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Alright guys, so at this point, pretty much ready to, well, this whole district has been zoned. But now I'm going to add a couple parks here and there, you know, just to make this place more livable. You know, people have to want to move over to this corner of the city. So I will add a few larger parks, maybe a couple playgrounds. I'm going to try to fill in some of the blanks here. There, a couple dog parks. And then maybe like some nice parks. Actually, I don't want to go too crazy on the parks because I still need to leave room for my essential services. Add a park over here. Okay guys, well, we got some parks plopped, and the next step will be to place down some essential services such as healthcare and schools. So actually I don't think this area warrants like a giant hospital. I'm gonna place a clinic over here. I'm gonna place an elementary school over here that's kind of central, and a high school over in this corner. So we got that covered. In terms of fires, probably gonna want to include a fire station. I'm gonna put a fire station right over here. You know, it's pretty central to the whole area. Just a small fire station will do. And of course, a police station to service this entire area. So I think right here is probably a decent spot. Now I am in the red here. I'm not, oh, okay, well, never mind. That didn't last long. I was kind of worried that I was dipping in the red quite a bit there, and I just placed down a ton of services, but that should eventually even out once people start to move into to these areas here. We're gonna get a ton more tax money here once people start to move in. So I'm just gonna take a minute, guys, to run some water pipes under all of these districts, and I will catch up with you in a minute. Okay, guys, there we go. Everything has been laid out. This is probably the biggest pre-zoning project I have ever done. I'm just hopeful that this is not going to cause a death wave, but what it would certainly do is get rid of any residential demand we're ever going to have for the next little bit. So basically, oh boys, everybody's decided to settle where there's no power. But let's see if I can quickly fix this before we get too much abandonment. There, so I'm gonna run a power line here. Over here is fine. Perhaps there's something that I can place down. Maybe like a tennis court over here. Hopefully that's enough to bridge the gap. Yep, it is. And then maybe a parking lot or two. Oh, okay. Actually, wait, I gotta make sure. Oh, this is all residential, yeah. You don't typically find parking lots near residential, so I'll just change this into commercial, and then it makes a little bit more sense. Then I'll go ahead and plop down one more parking lot over here, and let's check our power. Everything is connected, so we'll just have to hope that people don't start settling at the very reaches of these suburbs, because they will soon get abandoned. Anyways, okay, so with all this being done, it's basically just a waiting game at this point for all of these areas to develop. I'm sorry if I'm kind of rushing through these areas, guys, but I just really want this to become sort of like a generic kind of residential area. You know, there's nothing too special about these places here, other than maybe like some nice parks and stuff that are eventually going to go here. But I would really like to focus my attention over to the metro network. So let's get into that. I'm going to destroy this segment over here. And what I want to do is I'm going to modify this interchange a little bit. I'm probably going to need to enable the anarchy mod here in just a second, because I am going to transform this into a wide road, and then take these two little stubs, turn them into 2-lane roads, and then I'm just going to stretch everything out just a little bit. I really don't know how I'm going to make all of this work, but we'll see here. I will slope this, and I will slope this. Try to get this as level as I can, I suppose. Actually, I should probably get all of this on the same level. To object height. I'm gonna select this. Oh, okay, everything was pretty much level to begin with. I mean, it's not perfect, but it works, right? I mean, these little merge lanes, I'm probably gonna have to fix this up in a little bit. I know this is gonna cause problems. But the reason why I'm doing this, why I'm widening everything here, is because I want to add a 4-lane road that is going to spin off in this direction. I'll connect this up over here. And I think just to smoothen out the transition here, I will place down a nice divided road just like this. But the main reason why I'm doubling up this road, making it nice and wide, is because I want there to be a metro station over here. And this road is going to need to handle an extra amount of traffic volume. So this metro line is going to go back down to ground level. And I believe there is, if I'm not mistaken, a ground level station. Yes, a metro station, which I will plop in some location, which I am not sure yet, because we have a giant hill here. I think I may have to flatten this out, because it's going to cause problems, but hang on here. I'm going to raise this up. Raise this up to about this height, and that's going to give us a little extra room to place down the metro station. So if I flatten all of this out, just temporarily, I'm going to smooth it all out afterwards. And I can go ahead and place my metro station. But I don't want to place it directly on the main road, because that's going to cause a ton of congestions once cars start spawning. I don't think this is going to be like a super busy station, though. But I just like to at least create a sort of secondary entrance. There we are, and let's place down the metro station. And this is perfect. It's right by the highway. Awesome. And then with this station being at ground level, I can simply go and hook this up. Uh-oh. There. That is easily fixed. However, I'm not sure why is there no pillar that spawned here? There. Another easy fix. Oh, hang on. There we go. That is perfect. And we need water, and for power, what can I do for power? Probably not a whole lot. I think I'm gonna have to make a little power line bridge here. This might be temporary, probably will be, because eventually this district over here is going to expand, and then I can remove this a little later on. But for now, I'll have to put it in place. All right, so there we go. Now let's continue this line straight ahead. I think I'll bring this right down to ground zero here. I'll try to make this as smooth as I possibly can. Make this into a nice proper transition, because this line, rail line here will eventually make its way underground. So I'm gonna have to move this post as close as I possibly can. And then bring this eventually to -8 meters. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. And this is the part where we go underground. So I'm hopeful this is gonna work. Hopeful this is gonna be smooth. With a little bit of jerry rigging. There. It's not perfect, but it works. Yeah, you know what? That doesn't look half bad. And then I can actually take advantage of these zones here to place down some little offices and commercial spaces. This will eventually grow into something. And actually, before everything starts to develop, I'm just going to take a second to smooth it all out. All right, now we're talking. There we go. Okay, so for the remainder of this metro line, it's actually going to be pretty easy just because the line is now underground. So I can basically just kind of, you know, drag my way into wherever I want. So of course, I think the most logical thing would be to service the university. Because right now we have a lot of road traffic going to this area because there's nothing but cars and buses that are currently serving this space. So let's first choose where we want to place our metro. And I think I have a good spot. Probably right about... I think here is probably a decent spot. These new stations, well, newer, they're part of the Plazas and Promenades DLC. They're really nice. The only problem I have with them is that they have 2 metro lines coming out of them. It's not really a big problem. They're underground. You don't really see them anyway, so... But I think I'm just going to stick with the default metro stations. All right, so now let's connect everything up. Just like so. And the line will eventually make its way across the bay. Oh, all right. It looks like we kind of screwed up with the terrain here underground. But that can be easily fixed just by lowering everything. There, and then I'll work at smoothing out the slopes here in just a second. There. Actually, I think, let me check. No, I don't even have smooth slopes on. Okay. Just the way it is, I guess. Okay, so the areas that I want to service over here, of course, we want Hemlock Heights to be fully serviced by this line, but I would also like some of the park roads to have access to the metro line. So I think what I'll do here is just make a sharp turn to over here, where the line will follow the coast. And then, let's see here where we can place some stations. I think this would probably be a good spot right here, you know, as close as we can get to the Sydney Opera House looking building. And then from this point on, it should be pretty simple. I basically just have to lay down some stations every now and then following this main avenue here. So let's see. I think right here is probably a decent spot. It's close to a bunch of different landmarks. And then I think I'm going to place one station over here at the very fringes of the financial district. Right over here. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, so let's connect all of this up and see how it goes. Just like this, and then I think what I'll do here is simply turn this right into the main station, which is our very, very busy hub. It's probably not a good idea to link everything up just into this one station. Pretty sure every line in the city eventually ends up here. But yeah. And there we have it. There is our complete loop line. Pretty much services the entire city of Brightwood. And the only thing that's basically missing from it is maybe like the northern districts. But you know what? These people are too rich to have a metro line running through their neighborhood. You know, they all have their own private vehicles. So we won't worry too much about them. And the very last step that we're going to take in this project here is let's do create new line. And then we're simply going to connect all of these stations up. Very simple. University, and over here in Manor Hills. It'll eventually link up over here. So I think this is where the line is going to terminate. This is kind of the halfway point of the loop. So I think that's how we should go about this. We'll complete the line and finally go into our line overview. Which one is it? It should be a number. Where is it? This doesn't make any sense. Oh! Oh my god, guys. I was in the bus networks. Okay, forgive me. Let's briefly go over our lines here, make sure that we name it correctly. So the west line... Okay, that goes that way. I could just call it Brightwood West. And I'll change it to maybe like pink. And then the north line, let's do Brightwood East. There, I think that makes sense. Okay, so let's take a look at how far we've come this episode. Let's just take a look at what's going on here in our neighborhood. So they're slowly sprawling away. Again, this is going to take many, many episodes to fill in all of these areas. Look, we have like 0 residential demand. Oh, these commercial and industry / offices demand is pretty pesky. It's not going anywhere. No matter what I do, it's just not going down. I mean, of course, I just zoned an entire city in one go. That's probably a big factor, so we'll have to zone some more industries somewhere. I was thinking of maybe making like an industrial park over here somewhere, but I don't know. We'll see once we get to that point. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward ahead, guys. I'd just like to show you how this metro network is going to be operating. You know, we're already starting to see some small numbers of people using these stations. 13, 17. It's going to take a while before we start to see the full effect of this metro line, right? There's like barely any people living over here. But hopefully, a lot of people are going to be taking advantage of this line pretty soon. Okay, guys, I've fast forwarded ahead just a little bit, just a couple of minutes, and let's see how our metro stations are functioning. So, of course, at this terminus, it's kind of a double terminus station, 335 passengers. Oh my god, what's going on over here? Oh, not enough educated workers. Oh, okay, well, that'll even out itself in the long run, I think. Okay, so let's take a look at this station, 40. And this is going to take a long time before these stations start to even get remotely busy, just because like there's barely any people living here, right? So 90 passengers over here, but I suspect these stations are probably going to be used quite a bit. Oops. Yeah, 116. Whoops, where's the next one? Over here, 56. And over here, the last station, 20. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna take a long time before these stations kind of balance out and you know, people switch their commutes from whatever they're taking to these metro stations, right? I'm sure a lot of people are still taking the bus here. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a great addition for the city. So that'll be it for this episode, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned because there is still a handful of Dunswell episodes yet to come out in the next couple of months before the release of City Skylines 2. I'd love to finish the city. Almost there. Just a few episodes left and we can finish everything that I have set out for Dunswell. So with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, drop a comment, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel. And until the next episode, take care, everyone.